That's funny.
Let's start. Did you ever visit my web page with the cold water?
No, I didn't look at I saw you had a lot of article and video. I didn't look at it.
Okay. We keep this for late. Yeah, it's been so, but not right now. Safety. The first thing to understand when we do cold water immersion, it's what are the risks to put a body into a cold water temperature. I did my research with people, with all the, comment ça s'appelle? Des fois, j'ai switché en français. With the lifeguards, about when people fall into a cold water from a boat, because the most efficient and medical reports that will be from this lifeguard security. And so there's different risk when you enter into the cold. The first one is the panic. That's what kills people when they fall into cold water. It's because they start to panic and the breath is too fast, so they hyperventilate and they lose consciousness. That's the first reason of death into cold water.
Okay.
I mean, when people fall from a boat into cold water with the water around 3 degrees, when we want to be very specific, because it's matter how many degrees. So I specifically speak for 3 degrees. I will come back on the difference later when we speak about the protocol.
Okay.
The second risk, it's appear later, it's depending the size of the people, the corpulence, and if they swim, if they don't swim. The other risks come later, around 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. It's that your muscles start to not react. It's specifically a high risk for people like for the cold winter swimmer. That's the main thing than the risk is because when you start to move into the cold water, the more active you are, the more you mix the blood. So one of the reaction of the body is try to keep safe all the vital organ and keep all the warm blood close to the vital organ. So the less we move, the more the blood is stable into the body. The more you move, like if you do the swim, or if you panic, the more you active your blood circulation. So the more difficult it is for the body to keep the warm blood close to the organ. Also, then your muscles get a little bit more, as you active them, you sound more cold into the muscles straight away through the blood. That means your muscle will go into a type of paralysis. There is a specific name. I forget the name, the medical name, but it's when your muscle are too cold to function and you lose the functionality of your muscle. It's not a cramp. It's a type of paralysis. Paralysis.
Yeah. It's a reaction to protect the body, basically.
At this point, no. It's not anymore into the protection mode because you want to keep the function of your muscles. When you lose the muscle, is it a protection mode? Good question.
Because it must be shutting down what's, in the head, in the head. The body doesn't think if I stop swimming, I'm going to drown. So he probably starts shutting down the less essential, which for him at that point, the muscle will be less essential than the heart or, other vitals?
No,
You see what I mean?
because example, if you don't swim, if you do no movement, you don't send the cold blood into the muscle, so you will last longer. So it's not a reaction of the body, it's a reaction of your attitude into the water. That's very different. So into a safety mode, if you fall into the cold water to a degree and you have a life jacket, you will last longer when you don't move. If you start to move and swim, that's where you create the problem. So it's not a reaction of the body, it's a reaction of your comportment.
Okay.
So, and this is a risk for the cold water swimmer, who they need to calculate the duration of their swim depending on the temperature of the water. It's a nice way to learn after to put protocol how this handled. But that's the second risk after the hyperventilation is this muscles. And then after we have the hypothermia. But example, if you don't swim and you stay static, so you don't engage the pronostic for your muscle, but you will engage faster your pronostic for the hypothermia. Hypothermia will arise depending of your activity and we do, but if you stay static into the cold water, it will take at least 15 minutes before have an issue of hypothermia and to have the body temperature coming down.
15 or 50?
15.
15. Oh, yeah?
Between 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, that's for people who didn't build any resistance to the cold, because the more you expose your body to the cold, the longer you can stay into the cold without hypothermia. The proof is all the people who do the stupid ice bath record. The world record is about 4 minutes 20 or 4 hours and 20 minutes or 4 hours or 30 minutes. It's a woman who gets the world record now, into ice, pure ice, without moving. So again, we are very far off of 15, 20 minutes of hypothermia shock. We go over this. So the reality, we have the ability to get resistance to the cold, and we can push this very far and quickly. Then, yes, that's the three main risks that we look into. That's the three first main reason that can cause death when we put someone into
blood pressure. There's nothing with the blood pressure getting low when we eat the water. No, nothing like this.
No, your blood pressure go higher.
Okay.
So the blood pressure go high because what happens is you have a constriction of all the vein. So all the vein contract to boost the blood, and so that puts your pressure high. With this, you can have the issue that the high blood pressure is not an issue directly if you don't have any
high blood pressure issue.
Is not the high blood pressure issue in only the high blood pressure issue is not, that will be not a problem. What will be the problem is if you have someone who have aneurysm, you can make the aneurysm explode. So depending if the aneurysm, pop. Depending if the aneurysm is in the head or in the shoulder, the impact is not the same. And so, but this is not the high blood pressure. It's the condition behind the high blood pressure. Yeah. One of the side effects of the high blood pressure that I saw into my client with the ice bath, it's the first side effect is headache. So you can have people who enter into the ice bath and straight away they will say, oh, I have a headache. The headache is not like when, how you call this in English? A brain frozen, or when you eat an ice cream.
Yeah.
So it's not this type. It's really a proper headache, and this headache is due because of most of the time because of the high blood pressure. As all the vein contracts, that's given more pressure into the head, and that can have discomfort. Safety for this, it's when it's happened, is to calculate or asking the person to give us the evolution of the headache. If a peak and it's stable, it's fine. If it's a peak and it's keep going up, then it's better to ask the person to coming out. The few cases that I saw personally, it's peak, person coming out is go down, it's okay. I also person who stay inside the ice and it's go down after, no problem. But also the case of person who have a headache for 12, 24 hours and then it go down.
Okay.
That's the side effects directly linked to high blood pressure. But otherwise, you can, because the process for our adaptation, we come back on this later. The next day, it's when we work on to understand how the body reacts. This process of adaptation is very short. So your high blood pressure and all this not last long enough to do any damage.
Okay.
And yeah. Good. Risk. So into this risk, yes. First one, hyperventilation. You don't want people hyperventilate more than 2 minutes. You can have a hyperventilation for 1 minute, 1 minute 30 if you want to push a little bit because you see the person start to control the hyperventilation. But when they don't control the hyperventilation, they are too much into panic mode. It's time to take them out. The moment they go out, they stabilize very fast. That's it. So to understand the hyperventilation, you have too much oxygen arriving to the brain. And when we have too much oxygen arriving into the brain shuts down. That's simple. So it's physiological and everyone has his own limits. But most of the time, yes. Never go about 130. Cool. That's more or less risk. Any question?
No.
Oh, one specific question people ask very often. The first fear of the people is about the heart. So what are the risks? The heart, the cœur?
Oh, the heart. Cœur?
Yeah.
Really?
Very often people, can I do yes, most of people, that's the first thing. It's like, can I do a cardiac, yes, heart attack.
Okay. Heart attack.
Yes, heart attack. That's definitely a no. Okay. Except if someone have a heart condition. So that's why I have a disclaimer. I will send you I don't know, did I send you my disclaimer?
I think in the past, maybe yes.
Yeah, I will send you back. I have a disclaimer with all the different basic. Don't want people eat too early. You don't want people drink, who can drink, or there's a couple of basic things. And if people have conditions, it's good to know because, example, someone who come with a heart condition, example, cardiologist, our doctor say, oh, you can't do sport, you can't do cardio exercise. That's definitely someone you don't want into your ice bath. My criteria to know if someone can come into the ice bath or not, it's if someone can run a sprint on 100 meters. That's more or less what happened to your body. It's the same physiological effect and the body will, that's the same effort. Not physical, that's the same effort for the heart, for the breath, than the body will do than if you run 100 meters.
Oh, very good. So we don't need to run, we can just do ice bath. And that does your cardio.
No, it's not at all. It's nothing to do at all. It's just to know if someone have the ability or not to do the ice bath. That means you can ask if someone comes with a heart condition, and say, I have a heart condition. How can you know without information about the heart condition if it's possible? Because some heart condition can do the ice bath. It's not an issue. If the heart condition can enter into the ice bath or not, you ask, is it your doctor authorize you to do a sprint on 100 meters? If there's no restriction for this, yes, but that's not mean that's the equal to the effort for the heart will be exactly the same. Probably less. So let's go a little bit more on the people at risk. That's what is behind the risk. I will send you the link with the disclaimer now. Copy it. WhatsApp. Oops. Oh, Virginie. Oops. Here. And link. Fabulous. Once my laptop catch up with the full thing. You don't want, yes. So people with high blood pressure and no treatment, we try to avoid them. Or again, we ask the question, if the people do any physical or cardio exercise. If the people say, oh yes, I run, I do my cardio, blah, 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 or have no difficulty to run 100 meters in sprint, it's fine. So there's a line of, we can play a little bit inside, we can be flexible. But sometimes, if you have someone who come with high blood pressure issue, but is under medication, you're fine because the medication will stop the high blood pressure and stabilize. It's much better than people who are not under medication. That's the more problematic. We saw the heart answers for the heart. We don't have this other problem. Clack, clack, clack. Also, people, example, I have a patient. I have a client with a pacemaker. That was very scary for me. But again, it's people under medication or it's people with I speak for only this problem, or with a pacemaker, that's very safe as a facilitator, because that means we know there's a heart issue. If there's any problem with the heart, the pacemaker will act and
Okay.
you have your backup. People who come and say, oh yes, my doctors told me I have a heart issue, but they wanted to put me on a pacemaker and I don't want because blah, blah, blah. Oh, I don't want to take my medicine for my heart because blah, blah, blah. Then you avoid them. Cool. The one for me who are on the top of my lists are the people with the Raynaud syndrome. The Raynaud syndrome. Yeah, syndrome de Raynaud. It's people who have trouble with the vasoconstriction with the vein. Once the vein contract, they will not come back properly. And there's different level into the Raynaud syndrome. And can't remember exactly if it's 3 or 4 different levels, but what we know is the color of the fingers can change. That's the first stage, and it will become white, like the wall behind me. It's proper white. And this can be just the top or the full fingers. If people have this, you don't even go there. That's a no to dive in. Now, it's quite interesting because I need to do a research. I have a client who told me she had quite a severe Raynaud syndrome and she solved her problem by doing ice baths. But yes, in one way it can make sense because you can, like I said before, you can train your body to build resistance to cold. So I totally think it can be possible to have, to build a tolerance to the colds, to boost the body to help his tolerance, but with a very, very specific protocol and definitely not with the one that I use. For sure. So there have a lot of people who come and tell me, oh, I have the Raynaud syndrome.
Really?
Okay. Yes, that's quite common. Now, it's a little bit like I say, there's different degree. These people who have a very light Raynaud syndrome. It means fingers color will slightly change. Okay, it's not getting white like the wall behind me, but it's getting a little bit blue or yellow, and they feel cramp or they feel numbness. And it takes time to coming back, and that's happened always during the winter, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time it's on the finger, not so much on the toes. This category of people, I ask them to not put the hands into the cold water. If there's a couple of symptoms with the toes, what I do, I reduce the time of immersion for the first time. I ask them to go out. I check how the feet react, and yeah. But again, it's people with a very light Raynaud syndrome where the fingers colors don't change.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything with variation of color you don't want. Speaking about this, numbness into the hands can be a common side effect of keeping the hands into the cold water. I have different case from numbness who last few seconds, few minutes, at numbness who last months. So that gave, and it's happened with the months. It was quite interesting. That was a client who was coming, and she was practicing ice baths before to come to see me. She practiced ice baths all the fucking season with me, not a fucking issue. And then one of the last one that she did at the home, she had this numbness into the fingers, and it lasts for months. She explored a different thing, because at the beginning it was like, oh, ice baths, but after you say, maybe it's not only the ice baths, because she has such an habit of the ice baths. It's never happening. So looking for a neurologic issue, that's also possible. Different thing. Actually, speaking of this, I never go back or check with her. We've been in contact if she find out what it was. I know the finger getting better.
No.
We've been in contact for a long time, because she keep traveling. So she was not anymore in Goa. She kept traveling. She go in Nepal and blah, blah, blah. And after, when she go back to Israel, never been back in touch. But by the time she was in Nepal, her fingers, most of the finger was coming back normal, and she was just have a bit of numbness on two of fingers, yes. So that's one of the side effects. Risk with the participants, so that's the Raynaud syndrome, and we don't really want. Did I say the one with aneurysm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it pop.
Good. Yeah. After, for sure, yes. After, for sure, I don't take any pregnant woman inside. I mean, either, yeah. Either, I don't think so. There's any,
I don't think any pregnant woman will come.
Yeah, no. And yes, probably that's yes. Any question about our participant at risk, or we are all good, all clear?
No, all good.
Fantastic. I just read my disclaimer. That's in point 3. This process causes constriction of blood vessel and reduce the circulation of blood through the body. When combined with existing health complication, yes, existing health complication, it can lead to elevated blood pressure and increase the risk of cardiac arrest or stroke. That's only, it's just to make clear that when there's other complication into the background. I think in UK, it was 2 years ago, there was one girl who died when she was doing an ice bath. And that was a little bit of massive polemic, especially on the tabloid, the news. They love this kind of shit. And they were like, oh, and it was, in reality, the reason of the death was not because of the ice bath, but because she had a heart condition, who can happen in any time that she was doing any fucking activities. If she was just running or whatever. So that's one of the tricky thing to be aware, and that's why it's inside my risk and assessment, just to explain. Yeah. Good. Bum, bum, bum. So that's for the risk. Now, protocol and goal. Into my speech, I explained the different type of cold water immersion, from shower, from winter swimmer, from ice baths, from cryotherapy, and yeah, and all these and from cold to hot therapy. All these have different goal and different protocol. What we use into the ice bath, because we are into a safe environment, we can look after the people. It's not like if you're a swimmer, we can go into a very cold degrees. Then, example, the cold swimmer, they will not do because it's not safe to swim into such a cold if you don't have any training. But into the ice bath, it's totally safe and cool. The goal and protocol, they go a little bit together. I work with a protocol of 3 degrees and 6 minutes to explain my protocol and after the difference between the other protocol. This protocol is designed to make sure we work with a cold shock reaction. The cold shock reaction is when we start to work with therapeutic effect for your cold water. We need a cold shock. Yeah.
Cold shock reaction. So, what did you say?
Yeah. So
is denied to make sure we work with a cold shock reaction.
So you have we consider that the body. Yeah, therapeutic. We consider that the body enter into a cold shock or can enter into a cold shock action under 10 degrees water. What will change is the expositions of the time you stay into the water and how long it will take to kick this cold shock. Into a protocol then based more or less on the rescue swimming guys or into the world of the cold water immersion, it's 1 minute exposure per degree. That means if the water is at 10, you can stay into the water for 10 minutes. If the water is at 6, you can stay into the water by 6 or 3. That's a very, very safe protocol. When we saw the risk, the physiologic risk when you enter into cold water, if your breath is stable and you don't swimming, you have an hypothermia. Hypothermia will arrive only at 15 minutes. We are fine. Yeah, under 15 minutes, there is no physical problem. So with the temperature lower, so 10 between 10 and 8 is very good for the people who go swimming because they can stay longer into the water and they can move. It's fine. After every degree that you take will be a massive gap and massive difference. Working at 3 degrees, we work with very strong cold shock, so we push the body into an extreme limit, and that's why we'll develop all the chemical reaction that we want. That's why we have the therapeutic one. And the next session, we will go through all these points about what exactly physiologically what happened and what is therapeutic. I double the timed exposure inside. It's because there's different stage of adaptation when you enter into the cold. You need this time with my technique. You need this time to slow down the breath and control and stabilize your ability to stabilize your body and stabilize your mind to have the ability to stay into the cold water. Versus Wim Hof technique, for example, it's one of the more famous, where you do a breath work before to speed up your body to speed up the oxygen. That's when you use like breathing fire technique when we do into yoga. That's build a strong resistance to the body before. So your body is like, you have a armor, and you trigger your receptors to push them to enter into the cold, and you make a resistance to the water. My technique is the opposite. We learn to relax a maximum to let the body to stabilize. That gives you a better way to stay longer into the cold. So the people who work with Wim Hof technique work most of the time with a 3 minutes. And they don't go over the 3 minutes, but it's mainly because of the technique that they use. Yes. So this protocol have different goal. That's the goal. So it's my main goal is to, at first, especially when you have beginner coming in all this, the thing I say into my speech is the goal is not to stay into the water, it's to master how your brain, your breath, and body work. And that's what we really want to do, and we need the time. So the time that people stay into the cold water for my protocol is not important. What is important is that they keep the control of their mind, their breath, and the body. Once they master this, they have the technique and they can easily repeat the technique. Once you broke one time the technique, when you achieve the technique, I have probably a good 95% of the people who come for the first time, they stay into the 6 minutes. The other 5%, you have 4% who will come back, 4.5% who will come back and they will manage in more than one time. And you still have a 0.5% of people who will not managing. And yeah. And this is many, I will come back on this when we speak about the way to present the thing, is many, the state of mind of the people. And there's some people you will see, they were like, you can't connect with them and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Sometimes there's some who come and they just say, I'm going to relax while you do everything. It's just like, okay.
There's just like people, they come with their mindset and there's no windows to open.
Yeah. They're definitely coming. Well, that's why I don't understand. Why are they coming then? If you come with an attitude, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Waste of time and energy.
But it's still a very small percentage, nearly non-existent, and yes. So why 3 degrees and why not 4? Why not 5? Why not 6 or 7? Once you master the technique at 3, all the rest, it's like super easy, finger in the nose. The difference with the technique, with the degree, make no difference. The effort will be the same. If you do at 6, if you do at 5 or 3, the work that the person has to do mentally, it's, on the first time, it's exactly the same, because the experience, it's still strong. That's what we want. And it's just how you can broke your mind work and take back the control of your body. And
Yeah, because when they
that's,
go at
yeah.
10 degrees, they feel like it's 3 degrees to them. And then they go in the 6 and they're like, oh shit, this is really cool. They make me laugh.
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
But
And
yesterday, the inverse, I did 3 degrees first for
yeah.
just over 6 minutes. And then I quickly went for 1 minute. I had just a tiny bit of time in the 6 degrees. And I don't know. I just once I enter, I said, "This is not at 6 degrees. This is like warm." For the first time, it felt actually warm to me. It was unbelievable.
And you do the sauna before to go inside the cold.
Yeah.
Or you do into the cold and after you do the sauna.
No, I do a little bit of sauna before just to relax, and then I go. And also because I do 6 minutes, so I disturb people. A lot of people, they just do like 8 minutes of sauna, 1 minute in there. So there's a lot of things. So I always wait until everybody goes once. And then I know once they done it once, they don't come back for a little while. So then I go and do my 6 minutes by myself. Do you see what I mean? So I create my little space.
Yeah. So it's a different technique, because when you enter into the sauna, you have to go. It's highly recommended. You have to go into the cold because you dilate all the blood, and so your body is craving. When you enter into the cold, the body use the cold to rebalance because it's too hot. So you create a different type of thermic shock, and your body at the beginning needs this cold. So that's why hot cold it's a different therapy. When you do ice bath first, and then go into the sauna after, you use the sauna to stabilize the body to the cold. Yeah. So that's mean when you enter into the cold, you create the cold shock, and that's this cold shock that we need for therapy. Into the type of process.
Even if I go to the sauna before and I come off the sauna and let's say I don't enter the cold water immersion, it takes me 3 minutes to enter about.
So what you want to do is to cut the effect of the cold. Cut the effect of the warm. You go into the sauna, you go out of the sauna, you go to take a cold shower.
Yeah, but we have to do that anyway. Everybody has to do that because they have to take a cold shower before they enter the bucket.
Okay, so take your cold shower. Normally the cold shower should stabilize your body temperature. Take a good one, not just like, you stay under until your body feel cold. Once your body feel cold, then you enter into the cold water.
Okay.
What we want is to with a cold shock, that's to send a text, a message to the body that you think is dying. Without the feeling that you're dying, there's no cold shock.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things to know that you're dying is when you start to do this and you can't breathe. That's when the cold shock happens. It's when your body starts to think it's in a survival mode and it's to survive. But again, it's different type of protocol because the exposure hot cold is working also, but it's I don't know much about it. I have a very nice video where there's a doctor speaking much more about the hot and cold therapy, and I can send you the link. It's the one to watch.
Okay, cool. I will definitely let them stay in the sauna before and all that because that's what they want anyway when they come and stuff. But for me, I'm going to start doing it without the sauna first and see the difference.
See the difference, and yes, it's by building this protocol and by giving the tools of the person to be able to catch up with the breath into a panic mode. We train the body to we train our mind and the body to stabilize when we are into a panic mode. And that's why I work with this protocol and push down. Then you can work on the therapeutic things that are mental and physical. That's where we go. But like I said, the first time that people come is not so much about therapy or blah, blah, blah. Because this, you can build after the different protocol on it. It's really just to master the technique. You can't do any therapeutic thing if the people don't master the technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, example, if someone come and need to do something for a therapy, or is really targeting the therapy, and she's into the risk person, with blood pressure or heart and blah, blah, blah. I modulate the protocol either with the temperature and going from a little bit higher temperature and boosting my time to stay inside. Mm. Or what I prefer from far for people who are stable is to keep the temperature at 3 and diminish the time of immersion. But it's cool, especially when you have a sauna on the side, then you can work with cold shock, bam, and it's short. People go up to their limit, coming out, going to the sauna, stabilize, and keep doing this.
Yeah, I did, for me, I worked on 6 minutes. So I started at 10 degrees, 6 minutes. Then I did a couple of times. One, I mastered that. Then I did 6 minutes at 10 degrees. I went to the sauna. Then I did 3 minutes at 6 degrees, and etc. And I built up like this. And that was quite smooth, actually.
Because, and this is the two difference why I don't, not why. Yes, why? One of the reasons is, like I said before, we build resistance to the cold. When you start with something that is comfortable and start to extend, what you do, you build a resistance to the cold. So you have less cold shock. We lose this cold shock. And what we want is the cold shock. That's where the benefit is at this maximum. So that's why also I don't stay more than 6 minutes into the cold water. That's more important. Why 6 minutes, not 5 or not 4? It's, the trigger is the main thing that we produce, and it's very interesting for us, is the cold shock protein. It's a type of protein that is built and is produced by the liver. That's the most miracle cocktail shot that you can have. Okay? This, the liver produces this type of protein when you have a thermic shock. It's one type of protein when it's hot, and it's a different type of protein when it's cold. And it will take the liver 5 minutes to deliver the maximum of this juicy cold shock protein. After 5 minutes, it's done.
Okay.
So for some people and for some constitution, probably it will be 4 minutes. But for others, probably it can be 6 or 7 minutes. So targeting the protocol at 6 minutes, it's to make sure this protein have the time to be produced. You can to the same temperature with the protocol at 5 minutes, you still into the range of make sure that the liver product is full cocktail. You can do a Google about cold shock protein, or you can check. I will send you a couple of things about cold shock protein. That's our therapeutic thing. And to the therapeutic effect of the cold, you have the anti-inflammatory. Okay. That's very important. This happens the moment you are into the cold. You have an effect that also reduce all type of pain, because your body starts to produce adrenaline and endorphin. So that's lower the pain. All this has to be writing into the exploitation. Anyway. And you have what I target the most, the cold shock protein. And this one are the jackpot. So by building resistance to the cold, you limited the access of all this. That's why people can stay 4 hours and a half into 0 degree ice. It's because they become resistant. You can see on YouTube, you can see people who do ice baths every day. Bam, boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, bam, boom. They start with 2 minutes at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, they can stay 30 minutes. Easy. So what I don't want, or we don't want, is to build this resistance to the cold. So maximum, no more than 6 minutes. And,
Yeah, my body, I asked with the magnet, my body said twice a week for me.
Yeah. There's when the doctor did a lot of research about the cold water immersion. She said that there's no more benefit after 11 minutes per week. So depending how you cut the protocol, it's 11 minutes.
And it depends what you're looking for as well, because like me, when I did it every day, I was looking for the endorphin, I was looking for the endorphin actually, because I was in a low mood. Yeah. So it was more like a support, to give me that feel good attitude.
That's not the endorphin, that's the dopamine. Dopamine. That's what your brain starts to secrete also is in a list of all the chemical. That's the dopamine, and that's what make you feel super happy. That's why people have a big smile after.
Yeah. The whole day.
Yeah. Apparently, yes, it's much more efficient than a lot of drugs to break your dopamine. That's one of the things. So yes, depending for what you target, you can have more ice baths of per day. Example for recovery for inflammation due to twist or problem, a physical problem, and you hurt yourself. A daily ice bath with fucking benefits. That's not an issue. I know example for me to recover from my shoulder. So it's so many things, and that's what pushed me into the ice bath was because I was doing every day for 2 weeks, and then after my shoulder I was like, oh, no more pain. So we didn't expect this, but yes. It's not an exact science because it will change from one person to one another. That's why the therapeutic side is a little bit tricky to adjust. I had people who coming with a frozen shoulders, and we serve the frozen shoulders with a nearly daily ice bath. But also I have people who come for frozen shoulder and become for a month and nothing happened. Yeah. That's the reality of the thing. Yeah. That's for the physical aspect. Yeah, frozen shoulder is tricky. They are quite
Yeah, but if the body
to
doesn't
identify the
communicate
reason.
with the mind or stuff like this, like you can take everything you want, you're not unlocking up there as well. Sometimes it's locked for a reason. I'm pretty sure that shoulder is refusing the authority. 100%. It's when you refuse authority, when someone is being authoritarian with you and you refuse it, and then you've got problem with shoulder.
Okay. Any type of problem with shoulder, or specifically with
in
frozen
general, it's
shoulders?
the shoulder. I think in general is the shoulder. So after it depends.
Okay, yeah.
I guess it depends your resistance. If you resist strongly, you will have maybe a bigger accident than some other people. It's just the same with the leg.
Okay, yeah.
It depends,
Yeah.
Your resistance to it, and the more you resist, the bigger, plus c'est sévère en fait, ni plus ni moins. De toute façon.
Ouais. So that's for the protocol. That's for the physical aspect. After we were speaking about dopamine, when you trigger, if you want a more post-trauma syndrome,
I'm gonna send you. I need to send you something. There's this Swiss woman actually who work on the psychosomatic stuff. It's really interesting. I will send you a website. Super interesting.
Okay. So with the ice bath, there's a lot of work for the post-traumatic syndrome from people back from the military, from depressive people, from, you have in the different video that I sent, you have people who come back from losing their son, be abused, and all these people can manage to come back from all these different types of post-traumatic syndrome. And again, here it's a possibility to adapt different type of protocol as we target is the creation of dopamine mainly, and it's quite an easy access. Yeah. Yes. That's probably all about the safety protocol and goal. Any question about protocol and goal?
No.
No.
So why is the endorphin? Do I need to look? If the feel good is the dopamine, why is the endorphin? The feeling numb?
The endorphin, yes. The endorphin is like an antidouleur. How do you say in English? Painkiller.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have two types of painkiller. The first one is the adrenaline.
Really?
Yes, because once you're under adrenaline, your body is like super boost and you feel less pain. But because it's like a shelf. And the endorphins will be much more like a painkiller to numb the pain. And it's really targeting the physical pain.
Okay.
And the dopamine is definitely for all the mood. People with depression, you need dopamine. People with issue like Parkinson, Alzheimer, couple of brain issue, it's a drop of the dopamine. And yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I forget. Safety, risk, clack. Can we have an extra? You have the time?
Yeah.
Okay. When we have the person enter into, so now we know safety protocol and goal. What you really want to look when people enter into ice bath, I will speak in terms of safety only. Okay, after we we speak about the techniques. But in terms of safety, the first one is the hyperventilation. So anyone who can't take back his breath more after 45 seconds, you need to watch them. They become at risk. Okay. You need to make sure they still listen you, because the problem is when you start to not catching your breath, there's some people who are mentally very strong and they will not go into their panic mode as the one we are looking the most, because they are the scary one. That means mentally they are strong, but they can't catch up with their breath and they will stay into the water. The thing is, with the panic mode, most of the time, people who can't catch up with their breath, in less than 30 seconds, you will lose them. They will, and they will go into their panic mode and go out of the water, you lose them. That's our auto safety. But what we try to do is to help them to stay into the water. We convince them to stay into the water and we go to push them to stay into the water. So we help them to override this and we help them to override their panic mode. That's where we need to be very conscious about how long, and to always have an eye on the timer, how long they hyperventilate. And they need to catch up their breath in less than 1 minute. If they still, after you have different type of hyperventilation. If it's a hyperventilation and it's slightly under control, you can push up to 130 because you give them a chance to start to extend the breath and control the breath. If you pass the 130 and they didn't catch up their breath, take them out and they can try to the second shot. And the most important is when we take them out, we help them to catch up with their breath because the hyperventilation is not finished. So we make sure they slow down the breath. One of the trick, if you have someone into a panic mode, never happened to me, but we never know. Someone in panic mode, can't catch up the breath. Either after the ice bath, okay? The only way is to take a plastic bag and make them breathe into a plastic bag until they come back to normal. Because they will not produce so much oxygen and you keep them safe like this.
Okay.
Okay. We repeat, the problem is with hyperventilation, we produce too much oxygen and the brain shut down. And by using a plastic bag, it's a basic technique, medical technique we use. You keep the level of oxygen low and the people will not pass away. Sorry, can you repeat?
Is that why people who have panic attack, they tend to do that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our first risk. One another thing to look. I was watching at the beginning, but now a little bit less. I'm much more confident with the tachycardia. So with the heart speeding up, you can, there's two things. There's, most of the time when people are into the ice bath, you can really see on the vein, just on the neck here, you can see sometimes the pulse. So I don't know if it's one of my medical reflex or not, but you have the artery here. You don't even need to touch. You can see the pulse. So you can count the pulse on 15 seconds. It's what we calculate. If you can't see the pulse, when you're holding the hands of the people, instead to hold, you can hold one hand, but you can hold the, juste le poignet, and it takes just 50 seconds to take the pulse. You know how to take the pulse just under the thumbs. So so to take your pulse, you never use your thumbs, because if you use your thumbs, you take your own pulse. So never the thumbs. It's use the other fingers. Right under the thumbs here, there's a little, between the tendon, you have a little bit of soft point, and that's where the artery is passing. And with a very gentle pressure, you don't need to press too much. You can feel the pulse under the artery. Yeah? Yeah. So one of the techniques for someone who's suddenly is panicking to your husband, it's stabilized with the breath, more or less, but you can see it's still, you want to check his heartbeat. One very quick fast, you can put your hands just on the wrist. So it's good to train. You can train with other people who are not into the ice bath. You just put your hands and you try to catch the heartbeat on 15 seconds. Okay? So you have the number of heartbeats in 15 seconds, then you multiply by 4, you know how many heartbeats by minute. Under 120, 130, you find. Once we put a limit at 120, you're okay. It's a manageable tachycardia. If the person go above 150, 180 or more, you fucking not fine. You make them coming out. But in all this time, I never ever either found someone who's panicking or was panicking with above this rate. But
you train. By the time I found the pulse, I remember that I'm gonna have to go back to my book. How many times do I need to multiply by? They'd be dead.
No, what you do, from time to time, either when you give a treatment, someone who come to give a treatment, you say, oh, please, just give me one. Can I just take you? And the more you repeat the thing, the more you can just put your fingers. And it's a funny one to put on when they are on the ice bath, because you're facing them, eye facing them. It's just most of the time, when they are into a panic mode, I hold their hands. That's give a link. If the panic mode is too high, you can just remove the hand and go on the wrist. So you're still keeping the contact, and it takes 15 seconds just to check the pulse. It's fast. But honestly, that's ultra safety. It's good to know. It's good you have these tools, and that's to take off the risk of too high heartbeat for too long. Like I say, the ice bath will not impact the heart. What can impact is the panic effect. So that should be probably more with someone who's panicking, and that's when we have a raise of everything and it's not controllable. That's what we, again. Good. That's mainly the two things to watch. Most important is the breath. You can have the colors of the lips would change. It can be a sign. And color of the fingers. Okay, so we speak about the Reynolds syndrome, but sometimes you have this when you have your kids who go into the swimming pool when they are kids, and they never know when they are cold. They keep playing into the water, and it's freezing, and they come, and
Yeah.
like a Smurf.
Oh, yeah. Where we went to swim, because it's like super cold and they turn blue really quickly in 5 minutes. At the beginning, it was sun or something. That I was like, "Fuck, take the kids out quickly."
So we can see this reaction with the kids, and we know it's not like dramatic, but it's a sign. Yeah. It's a sign that the person have, because genetically we are not equal. Not everyone is equal to the cold. Everyone reacts very differently, and the genetic, depending what we have as a genetic, is very different. But that's really when you see someone who suddenly is turning blue, okay, that's a very strong reaction to the cold. And what you can do is to control, if the breath is under control, if it's not into a panic mode and it's stable and it's just coming blue, okay, it's fine. If it's in a panic mode and it's turning blue, it's not fine. It's too much element, okay? The blue will give you a limit. You can check the protocol. You can make shorter. One of the tools that we have to solve all this problem, so I keep for the hand, to solve nearly all the problem with bad cold shock reaction is the hot shower. It's all magic pills. Doesn't matter what are the reaction. If it's bad, take the person, hot water. That will stabilize the body super fast. And that's good. The only issue that I personally have, and I have only one time, 4 years, that was a woman who had low blood pressure reaction. I mean, I don't fucking even know how she managed to do it, but she was into the cold baths. She did a panic mode. She coming out of the ice bath after less than 1 minute, 1 minute 30. She coming out of the ice bath. She was like, recovering. Let her go. She was speaking with her friend and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly she just like, I don't feel good. And she started to feel weak and blah, blah, and all the symptoms of low blood pressure. Mm-hmm. If thousands of possibility why, okay, then counter for low blood pressure, people first you lie them on the floor, legs up. That should pass in a couple of minutes. That will stabilize the low blood pressure reaction. And then after hot shower. No hot shower before to stabilize because they can faint at any time. Yeah. A reason for this can be low sugar. It can be not sleep before. I don't know if she was party before. You never know what people do before and how they go. That's why I have a disclaimer. And in the disclaimer, I try to explain a lot of different, yes, don't drink before or don't arrive hungover from a big party before or don't arrive tired because that impacts your possibility to stay into the cold.
You got a lot of people who are on holiday, so it's complicated for you because there's some people who take it as an experience. Do you see what I mean? As opposed to of course there might be some, but in London it's more like the people down there. They're more like people who go to the gym and etc. You know, who knows, you know.
Yeah. Still a couple of exceptions all the time. Don't forget. But just to say that, yes, this girl, I didn't know what was her background and blah, blah, blah. One more thing to understand, I speak very often about come with an empty stomach. the reason behind it's there will not be a massive difference of if someone come and have a big dinner and go into the cold water. That will not change the full experience of the cold water. What will be much more difficult for him, that will be the digestion. Because when you enter into the cold water, into the chemical and the body product, it produces a specific enzyme to stop the digestive process.
Oh, interesting. Because yesterday I ate just before.
Okay.
Because I was starving, and it makes me starve when I'm down there. So I needed to have something to eat. I couldn't stay for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Can be fine. What we know, it's when you have your cold shock, your body produces an enzyme to lower and stop your digestive process. The reason behind is because you need a maximum of energy to save you. And what takes a lot of energy is the digestive system, and is not vital, and we can shut it down. So it will not change, like I said at the beginning, it will not change the process. What can happen is depending what you ate before, and it's depending how you digest, blah, blah, blah. It will slow down your digestive system and until you have descending into the digestive system. Good. I think we did the full risk assessment, safety protocol, call, blah, blah, blah. After, when we have this, what I start to prepare, and I hope this will be really what time now? It should go a little bit. Yeah, 21. That's a nice timing. I will not finish all this. Tomorrow, so probably Tuesday. For sure, if I manage by tomorrow, I finish tomorrow, but either technically Thursday is better. It's the technique protocol about the step-by-step introduction to the breathing technique. Okay, give me 1 minute. I need to go quickly to toilet. Sorry. Yeah, I will go to the toilet quickly too. I guess it's fair. Cool. So yeah, next time we work on more my protocol, how the sales, how I dispatch the sales, how I deliver, why it's work and why it is one of the best protocol in the world. Okay. So we're doing the protocol on Thursday, yeah? Yeah. And do I need to do the cold water immersion or no? Can you repeat? I don't need to be in the cold water. No. Let's work on the protocol and how to deliver and blah, 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 blah. Once all this is in place, what we can do is you will need guinea pig. Are you saying English? Yeah. Yeah. To exercise your power to keep people into the water with your mental power. Like
No problem.
and yeah.
I'm gonna find someone challenging.
Oh, no worries. Everyone is challenging. And one point, and it's true, everyone have their different challenge inside, and yeah. In the same time, I can open this, but that's a very long. Let me open. Can I have the share apps? That's probably the most interesting video about the conversion about digital aspect. I mean, I will want to go copy the link here. Copy the link. Because you have a lot of things happening into the body. We go to check when I give the explanation. We go to go couple of these points. I take all the big important points, okay, and I give them into the explanation. That's why we're not going now, but a lot of information provided from this documentary that I sent you. Link. No, it's 2 hours and a half. It's a long one, but it's a solid one. But quality. To understand what happened on the nerve system, neurologic system, and physiologic system. Boom! That's it. Any question?
No?
Cool. We confirm the time on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I haven't got much space on Thursday. I've got someone for the magnet at 1:15, I think. At 1. And then I'm busy after. Can we do after the class, or is it you can't?
Yeah.
After the class?
I was panicking. Tick, tick, tick. Yes, after the class.
Like 11 o'clock, yeah. You want to break?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Cool. Bombastic, fantastic. Cool. It's look very sunny.
Oh, tomorrow I'm going to Kew Gardens. Apparently it's 17 degrees.
Oh. Cool.
Maybe.
Okay, Virginie. Sorry. I don't know if it's
down there. I'm tired of
wait. Yeah, speak now.
I said maybe I will do some forward inversion. I'm tired of doing the dancer all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on from the dancer.
Oh.
I think you froze. No.
Yeah, no. I was just looking my calendar, and the calendar is super slow. That's why. Cool. I wanted to book this session like this. I don't do all the booking. That's proof like this is done. Otherwise, you know me. Session. Oh my God. I have the same problem today with when I start to do the booking. Let me switch off the record. Like this, my laptop will want